Well, hi. Today is Friday, March 27th, 2026. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. I love it when I have the opportunity to meet new people and especially new entrepreneurs that are trying something new. And I had a chance to go north of Council Bluffs to, well, through BB Town. The address is actually Logan, but it is just outside of BB Town. And there is a new event place there called Devney Acres. And this is a farm that has been transformed into an event place where you can get married, you can have whatever your event might be. There's a petting zoo. You can get up and close and personal with some animals. All of this going on close to home. And I had an opportunity to sit at the location with Brennen Devney and learn more about what it is that he and his family are doing, their why behind it. And I think you're going to enjoy this one. So, Brennen Devney of Devney Acres joining us today on Morning Coffee. Morning Coffee supported by Bryce Taylor and GLI Insurance Group, serving Council Bluffs, Tabor, and Clarinda. March in Iowa, kind of that in-between season. Sometimes you're going to get winter, you're going to get spring, sometimes you maybe even going to get summer, but it is a good time to take 5 minutes and make sure your home, vehicles, and anything you're pulling out for warmer weather are properly covered. Bryce and the GLI team live and work right here in our communities. They're always happy to help you as you head into spring with confidence. GLI Insurance Group, local service, all seasons. And Service Master Restore by Schmader knows how hard it is to get back to normal after you have suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke. Maybe you have mold that has been a result of that, and you have all sorts of questions. How am I going to get things back to normal? Here's how you do it. You call Cindy Schmader with Service Master Restore by Schmader. She will come out. She will give you an honest assessment of everything that is going on and what your options are. And it's a very easy experience. I'm telling you from personal first-hand experience of just how easy Cindy makes it. So get this number in your phone, 402-339-9911. Not in the studios on Willow today. We have made a trip into Harrison County to, just outside of BB Town is a place called Devney Acres, and this is Brennen Devney. He is kind of the, would you call this your brainchild that's all around us right now of what you've accomplished here?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it's been in the making for probably 6 years now, and I guess some history of it is that when we bought the place 6 years ago, there was no fencing here. So if that tells you anything, we now have over 70 animals here, and they all have a home. So that's all been built in the last 6 years.
Tell me about, let's walk through step by step of how we got here because you started mm, kind of a petting zoo, I guess is what you would call it, about a year ago. So the process to even get that far.
Yeah, so let's jump back 6 years ago. We bought an acreage for the first time. No, there were some horses here with a very small pen, but other than that, no fencing. So the first step was we started accumulating animals. First, it was mainly just because we had an acreage. Let's get a few animals. Then it was, well, my wife likes some animals. Let's get her the type of animals she likes. And then it started, snowballing from there. We ended up with maybe 40 some animals, building pen by pen. At that point, I started to realize, well, most of these animals eat a lot and they don't really provide a lot for me. So I figured, well, let's see what a petting zoo will do, and maybe the animals can at least put in some work for themselves and start paying for their own food. And that was about a year ago that we made that decision, and since then we've found that it's working out much better than we could have imagined. The animals are definitely putting in their work now, and they're paying for more than their food. So we're really happy with the how far it's come so far and the path that we're looking at going forward.
When you first started this a year ago, how did you let people know it even existed?
Yeah, that was the tough part, and I've done some business in the past, and I've done marketing in the past, so I have a vague idea of those topics. But you know, we are out here a little ways from town, so we really had to focus on marketing through social media and other online marketing avenues, and that was primarily how we started getting the word out. I would say it took 4 or 5 months before people that came out here, we ask every time, how did you hear about us? For the first few months, it was always Facebook or Google marketing. After that, it finally started switching to maybe one out of every three, out of every four groups would say, "Well, my friend told me about you," or "My coworker told me about you," and that's when we started realizing that the word was spreading, and we were happy about that.
You are going through that process, and you're several months that you're talking about that it's everybody that's out here is because you have tried to engineer a way to be able to reach them. Were you starting to get discouraged, or did you just know that eventually the word of mouth part of this is going to catch on?
So I wasn't discouraged yet because the engineering version of it was actually working out pretty well. I mentioned before I've done quite a bit of business in the past, so I'm aware of marketing and how that works and the investment that it takes. The return on investment for our marketing in the beginning was positive, so it was working out, and I felt pretty comfortable with it. But it's even better, when that organic traffic starts happening and that word of mouth gets out, and that's when you realize, well, two things: people are enjoying it if they're talking about it, and that makes us happy to hear that people actually like our our service and they like coming out here, and they're telling their friends and family and coworkers about us. So that made us feel really good to see that shift happening.
You have about 7 acres here for on the farm. And as I'm looking around and as you're talking about some of the different facilities and the different buildings that you have for events or other things, they were all here before, weren't they? That you didn't put up a building brand new with the idea that this is going to be in an event venue, correct?
Correct. So we had a shell of a property out here, right? So the house was there, of course, that was our family home. The fencing was not here, so that was something that we added. The campsites, we have two campsites; those were not here before, so we added those in. The buildings themselves, we have drastically changed their functions, their original functions. So all of the structures were here, at least the shell of them. Um, for example, the bridal suite was a chicken coop only 4 or 5 months ago. It is now a bridal suite. I have before and after pictures. It's pretty drastic to see. This building right behind us had a dirt floor, no interior walls, no plumbing, no electricity. It was just a steel beams with sheet metal on the outside, and it is now what you see today with a fully functioning, environmentally controlled event venue with a bar inside. And so we've come a long ways into transforming what we already have.
All of these things that you've done, any surprises along the way? Did it come together the way that you thought it would?
I'm very surprised at how well it came together. I don't have a history of event planning. I don't have a history of engineering. I don't have a construction background. But I was my own general contractor for this project. I did months of work on this project by myself and self-taught myself through, I will say it, YouTube and other means online. I am handy with tools, but I was not a construction person before this. So I was very surprised with how well this image in my mind came out into real life. I tell a story that uh, 10 to 12 years ago, I used to want to be an architect. This was back when my middle school, or I don't remember, early high school days, mid high school days. Um, I wanted to be an architect, and I used to draw building designs in my notebook all the time. That was what I did, maybe a few designs a week. And this building, and I didn't even realize it until not too long ago when we found one of my old notebooks. This building's design was in one of my old notebooks. Maybe not 100% exact, but 90% of what this design was in that notebook. And so it was already in my head a dozen years ago, and now it's, a reality. So it's pretty amazing.
This is the rustic shed. Is that the name of the facility? We're sitting under an awning right now with the kind of. This is more like the back door, isn't it? The front door is around the
Correct.
corner.
Yep. Yep. So this is our back patio that leads over to our ceremony area for weddings or stage for bands or things like that. And this is a 20 by 30 covered patio that has multiple tables. That's would be nice to sit under for summer events or any sort of events.
So you are looking at bringing more events to Devney Acres now. Uh, Weddings, obviously, that's kind of the layup. That's the first thing that you think of. But what are some of the other things that you envision being here?
Yeah, so first off, we're open to all events. So I want the whole goal of this property and the reason why we love living here so much and the reason part of the reason why we built it up so much is we love to just share it. We love having people out here. We love hosting people, even people we don't know. It's been a great experience with the camping, the petting zoo, and other events to have people out here and be able to let them experience that. So, um, although this building was primarily built for wedding venues, it's mainly it was built for mass gatherings of any kind. So we're open to corporate events, we're open to weddings, to birthday parties, graduation parties, any sort of large event. But aside from that as well, we're also looking at vendor markets, which we have one coming up on May 9th. Um, we do build a stuffed animal classes where kids can have birthday parties and come out and build their own stuffed animals to take with them. So we just love having people out here. Whatever you want to have a space for, we're that's what we want to provide.
I am impressed by everything that you've done so far and still seeing that we're still kind of in a little bit of a construction zone right now. You're still buttoning things up. You've got more landscaping to do. You've got more rock to get down. The ceremony platform is looks like it's getting closer and closer to being ready to go, and it is just one step after another. You just keep
Yeah,
moving, right?
yeah. I I don't feel like it'll ever be over. I'll reach. I'd say we reached an operational point where we can host events and we are able to functionally, and it looks nice inside. The next step is to make the outside look as beautiful as I hope the inside does. And I feel like I will say that I'm done at some point, but I will keep saying, "Oh, but I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this," and it probably won't be done for 10 years. I will never be done. Um, but it will be functional, and maybe people that visit won't know that it's not done because they don't see it in the way I do. But there's plenty more projects that I see for another decade that I'm already planning out next year and the next year and the next year. So those things are still in line.
I'm what I'm experiencing right now, sitting here with the chickens off on the side. We have sheep over to this direction, and we've been hearing guinea fowl the whole time that we've been out here. Which, yeah, you can't misrecognize those. This is a quintessential Iowa experience to me as I'm sitting here. You've created something that I think captures the essence of where we live.
Yeah, that's the hope. I want to really, I guess, advertise this lifestyle, and that was also a goal of building the petting zoo and having people out here that might not typically experience this environment, maybe from the city. Omaha's only 25 minutes away. Um, Bringing them out here. I used to make and I still do, I guess, make the statement that, a lot of people that live in Omaha or other surrounding towns, they've lived in Nebraska or Iowa their whole lives and they see all these cows and things when they're driving around, but really they've never been up close and personal with farm animals, even though they've lived here their whole lives. So we give that chance to, come up and pet a sheep and come up and pet our Highland cow or our horses and feed them out of your hand. And that's just not something a lot of people can say they've done, even though they've lived right next door to these animals probably most of their lives.
Yeah, that's very true. And to be able to get up close and in a controlled environment where everything is taken care of for them, and at the end of the day, they can go home. They don't have an animal to take
Yeah.
care of in order to have that experience. So you're providing all of that. And even with a couple of campsites out here, when did the idea to add camping to this? Now, again, you just have a couple of sites. It's not like it's a large campground,
Mhm.
but to add that experience to it, that to me is a little outside the box.
Yeah, so I travel a lot for my day job, and yes, this is not my full time job. So I'm busy in other ways as well. But when I was traveling for my day job, I've had conversations with people in other parts of the country, and I've explained my business and explained how I have a petting zoo and a farm, small farm, and I had one person ask me, "Well, have you ever heard of Harvest Hosts?" Which is a camping organization that people pay membership fees to be a member of. And I said no, and they explained it to me, and we realized that these types of places are the places that people like to stay at a lot of times when they're RVing or traveling across the country, they prefer to stay at these unique places where there may be one or two sites, and they can um, really get intimate with and personal with the owners, and build relationships. And that's kind of where the idea came. We started out with one site, and it didn't have electricity. And after a few campers, we realized electricity hookups was a big deal, and I agree. We installed our electric hookups, and we started having more campers. I think last year we probably had 50 some campers, and we started in May, so that was quite a few. Most of our campers have actually been from the coast, either
Oh,
coast. A lot of times they're traveling from one coast to the other, and we're right off the interstate. So they swing off, they stay here for one night, and then they continue on their trip wherever they're going. So it's been very interesting. We've had some campers that have stayed here on the way and on the way back, and we've seen them twice. So it's been a lot of fun. We meet tons of people. I have many stories to share with that as well, but tons of people, and it's been a great experience.
yeah, I can imagine that if that's me and if I'm traveling in an RV and that's my lifestyle, I'm looking for the place that is going to make me feel like I'm fitting into the area of
Yeah,
which I'm at. Now, sure, you can go to a campgrounds and you can go to and be among 30 or 40 other campers, but this is more of a unique experience. This is going to be something that it's going to stick in the memory bank as they're going through the rest of their trip.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I That's been some of the most fulfilling moments about kind of operating a place like this is when people come along, and I hope they like it, and I think they like it while they're here, but then when they leave, I see these reviews or these Facebook posts or other social media posts about just how much it meant to them, and how memorable it was when they're posting pictures with our animals, and they're saying to their friends and family this was such a amazing experience. And I just love seeing that, and that is really the most fulfilling part of owning something like this, is knowing that we're making that impact on people that come out here.
Well, let me give you an opportunity then to make a pitch for people to have their event out here, whether it's a wedding, whether it is a family reunion or a birthday party or what have you. Why should they come to Devney Acres?
Yeah, I mean, so we're a family owned, right? So the whole family cares deeply about this whole business, about the whole property. We have a lot of history here as a family, and we as a family had loved it before we even started a business. Loved this land so much, and that's partly inspired us to create this business, to share it with everyone. And I think it's a pretty unique place that you can come out here amongst the not far off from the city. We're only 25-minute drive, all paved roads right off the interstate. But yet you're surrounded by fields. It's quiet and peaceful out here. There's animals out here that are all friendly and want your attention. We're here to facilitate everything you need for your event, whatever you might need. I think the inside of our building turned out really well. I'm very happy with it, and we like to show people that. We usually get people saying wow when they walk in, which I'm very glad to hear because it was a lot of work. Um, but we've got our pond, we've got our campgrounds, we've got our grape vineyard, our orchard. So I think we have a lot of things to share that you might get pieces of this somewhere else. You might get one piece at a vineyard, you might get one piece at an orchard, one piece at a different petting zoo. But I feel like we bring a little bit of everything here for you to experience.
Website up and running
Yes, website's up and running.
and the address.
Our address.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Devney,
web
yeah,
address.
yeah,
Yeah.
devneyacres.com, and then Facebook page, Instagram as well. So we're online, fully operating there.
There you go. And check it out online, see if it fits what it is that you're looking for your event. And I would guess that you'd encourage them, come out, take a tour, find out firsthand exactly what's going on.
Yes, I would love for you to come out. Venue tours, if you're thinking about holding an event here, are free to come out and take a look at the venue. Petting zoo tours, we've from the beginning, our one of our primary goals was to make this affordable for all families. We don't want to raise prices to make this unaffordable, or make it some luxury visit. So, we welcome everybody to come on out here and hope to see you out.
Well, I'm grateful for the invitation to come out and take a look around. You got a beautiful place so far, and I can see how you're just going to keep adding to it. So grateful for your time. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Brennan. S&B Country Kennel, the top spot in Southwest Iowa. When you need to know your dog will receive only the best. There's boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park over an acre in size. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check with them about adoption possibilities. sbcountrykennel.com, country spelled with a K, and the kennel is located just west of I-29 on Bungie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. And Morning Coffee brought to you by Keith Jones, your Edward Jones financial advisor in Council Bluffs. Learn how he can help you reach your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com for more. Edward Jones, member SIPC. That is going to wrap up today's show. Also, wrap up the week. Looks like warm-wise, it should be a pretty nice weekend, maybe a little bit windy. It's spring. That's what we have. I'm planning on getting out and hopefully doing a little bit of hiking at some point this weekend, and planning on more outdoor activities next week. Tell you more about that as they come together. That wraps up the show, and as I said, wraps up the week. We will see you back here on Monday morning. My name is Todd Studer. Have a great weekend.